took us a few minutes, of course, as usual. Crazy mess with the podcast and the program that we're using and all of that other stuff. So we're trying to figure all that. Trying to see where this is at. Is it showing up online yet? All right. It looks like we're on. So do you tell me if you see it on our end? Cool. Yay. Awesome. All right. We're actually on. Oh my gosh. It took forever. Hey everybody. Happy Saturday.
Yes. Happy Saturday.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let me see. I want to make sure that people can actually see us and that they can hear us okay. So hey everybody, we're waiting for y'all to like start watching us so you can give us some feedback and let us know if you're able to see us and if you're able to hear us clearly as well. So, oh, look, there's Lee. There's Lee. There's a bunch of people. So now we got some people popping in here. So let's see. Make sure we're on.
I see several people.
Yes, awesome. Okay, do me a favor, Michelle. Can you count to 10? And everybody, if y'all can hear her clearly, let us know. Go ahead and count to 10, Michelle.
Yes.
Go ahead and count to 10.
I see Lee wants to know.
Michelle, count to 10. Okay, I know y'all can hear me. I'm trying to figure out if Michelle can hear me or if she's like in La La Land.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right. So if y'all heard me clearly, I know y'all are saying y'all hear.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, because I absolutely did.
See, hold on. Hey guys. Hello everybody. Hello. Oh look,
Oh.
I want to make sure we're synced.
Y'all can't hear it?
I want to make sure we're synced because I feel, yeah, I know.
You're frozen, so I can see myself on my ear and you talking, but what?
Do me a favor, Michelle, do me a favor, and it was breaking up.
You really can't hear me?
They're saying yours is breaking up. Did you hear that, or are you delayed?
This is a mess. Okay, okay. Okay. I don't know what to do about it.
Do me a favor. Just use your phone. No mic. No nothing. Just use your phone straight up on the Wi-Fi, and let's see if that fixes it. See, I know y'all can see me. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I figured because she's on a delay, so she's not even getting it at the same time. So I want to make sure because we've like tried 3 different approaches to trying to do it all at the same time. And this last one is actually one that just kind of just happened. So hold on, I'm going to hang up on her. Okay. So I'm going to get her back on here. I don't even know how I'm going to be able to bring a third person on here because I'm supposed to be able to bring a third person on here. But supposedly, this software I can bring like, making local recording. Why is it making a local recording? It should be doing it. Now you are back and forth. It's back and forth. Yeah. Oh my God. This is like gone a mess. This has gone a mess, y'all. Hold on. I'll be back. Going on here. Okay, cool. Now we're back on. Okay. So I think
over here counting like a fool.
That's funny. That's funny. No, and I think there were some issues on my end too that I needed to like turn off or whatever, so that way we could have this kind of like really going at like a smooth pace. So, okay, so let's see if we're on now because I just went back on. So I want to make sure everybody can
Okay.
hear us and see us, and that's the key word: hear us and see us.
Right.
Let's see.
I see. I see us.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're now you sound perfect. Now you sound so much better. Yeah, okay, so much better. Thank you. Hey, everybody. So I think we worked out our technical issues. I had to do some adjustments on my end to like turn off some of the programs that were kind of running that were eating up some of my stuff. And then also Michelle just had to get her life together. So she just did that in like the last 2 minutes. So that worked out. And so now it's just like everything seems to be going very well. Now it seems to be working really well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just I'm always going to keep saying that Mercury is in its shadow period. So we're going to have all the problems with technology. So just give us grace.
Grace, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh my God, girl. The week today has been the week. I'm telling you. It's like every week's like, what's gonna happen this week? And it's like, I don't know what's gonna happen this week. So
who can know?
all right. So, hey, everybody, welcome to the podcast. We are on and it seems to be running well. And we all seem to be, working out. So it's me, Ferny, and my co-host, Michelle. And go ahead, girl, say your thing.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I am Michelle.
That was so good, girl. That was so good. Oh my gosh. I'm like super blown away by you. And if
Please.
y'all... if y'all want to ask us a question, here's the thing, y'all. If y'all are like coming on here to ask me for readings, I'm not doing readings today, y'all. That was on Wednesday and yesterday on Friday on Instagram, or YouTube and Facebook. So I'm not doing readings today. This is our podcast time. So we're doing our podcast, and that means we're going to talk about different topics, different things. I'm not doing any readings of any kind today. This is just a conversational thing. So if y'all are looking for readings, I'm so sorry. Y'all are going to have to go to the podcast. Y'all are going to have to go to my free reading events, which are on Wednesday and Friday on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So for those of you who want to hang out and, converse with us and get into conversations, I'm going to bring some of y'all on to talk, and we're going to talk about different things. If you want to come on as a guest, you can do so. All you have to do is just the number that's on the screen right now. If you can go ahead and text your first name and the topic you want to discuss or the question you would like to discuss. It can be a spiritual question. Y'all can ask me spiritual questions, but readings, I'm not doing readings today. So that's what this is about. So, and you can ask a question to me, to Michelle. We're going to basically be freeballing it. So we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff and nothing at all. So there's really no structure to our thing today. So just so y'all know, so y'all aren't like, like, what are they talking about? What's going on? Why aren't they reading? Why isn't he like reading? Why isn't he like reading? Girl, shut up, girl. Shut up. Oh my goodness. How are you doing today, baby girl?
I'm good. I got my ass handed to me, of course, this week because remember we talked about Chiron a while ago. Well, that fool is too close to the moon. That's all I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of healing going on this week. Mm-hmm. But it's good because I think those are the times when you really just kind of figure out where you're still messing up, if you're paying attention to it. Because like we talked about in book study the other day, when you don't pay attention to what spirit is saying to you, that's when you just keep trying to roll the ball and you're just doing it all wrong. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to tell you, I wrote out this full routine and schedule for the house, right, in May. Now, do you think I implemented that? No. I didn't. Mm-mm. So this week I was like, I don't know why I can't. And then I was like, oh yeah. So today I was like, okay, this is what we're supposed to be doing today. Cause I have the whole thing like written out. I just, I guess maybe I was just like comfortable in that chaos of like being like, I don't know what to do today. Mm-hmm. Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do. So, of course, Michaela's all grumpy because we have like rules, but oh well, it's fine.
You kind of have to have like some rules. Like I don't believe in like living like a militant lifestyle where like everything is like structured and like completely has to be like by the book. But I think you need to have some structure to your day. You know, like for me, like my structure, like, and I'm not a very structured person. Well, I am like with my readings, but like in my everyday life, I don't think I'm very structured. I get up, I get my coffee, feed the cats. You know, most days I'll, you know, do the litter box, you know, right then and there. But some days I just like, it's like not even, it's escaping me. So, and then I got like the structure in the evening when I'm done with my readings and all that other stuff. And it's nice. It's nice having like that schedule because it's almost like it makes me feel like I have control of something in my life, you know? And I think that's the thing. And that's what you're saying is like you felt feeling out of control. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? I think the structure can help you feel like you're in control of something. So you don't feel like you're like just off on the handles and not, you know, there's rules for a reason, y'all.
Yeah. And the thing is that like at the time that I wrote all that out and was trying to do it, I was also trying to put myself on a schedule. But I've already done that now. So now I'm like, okay, I get it. I know how, first of all, not how easy it is, but how to do it. So I'm like, okay, it's going to be fine. You can fight against it all you want to. But at the end of this 21, 30 days, you're going to feel so good. And you're going to be feeling so accomplished in school. And you're going to be like, I know how to do math. So just relax and allow me to help you, you know.
Sometimes we need people to just be there for us. I mean, even if they can't fix the issue, like if they can't solve it or fix the issue, I'm fine with that as long as they're just like supportive or they're there for us, you know, and they're just like letting us know, hey, I'm here. I'm here. I've got your back, but it is what it is.
It really is. I mean, it's honestly, I think they might let her go back to school next month. Because, I mean, even though it's scary for me, she's just like the type of person who needs that structure, you know, of going to school and switching the classes and having to like, you know, cool out for a little bit. Because otherwise she's like a ping pong ball. And it's a lot, you know. So I don't know. Then again, I'm also thinking they might just shut down again by then. So my dreams of being able to work will be dashed.
You know, like right before we got on the podcast, I was doing my walk and I called my cousin Monica and I was just like, hey girl, what's up? What's going on? You know, cause she just got on a plane and flew to Vegas. I was like, okay, girl, good luck. You know, it's like people be getting sick on the airplanes. But she was telling me that her daughter is having trouble like keeping up with the workload and she's just not turning her stuff in or she's really lazy or this or that. And I'm like, okay. And I thought to myself, okay. And I was like, well, you know, why don't you get her a tutor? She's like, well, yeah, I might get her a tutor, you know, but she's like, I was going to send them back to school, like in person, cause they've been doing the online stuff from home. And then she says, and then we got to notice that the class that she was supposed to be in, that someone tested positive for COVID. So they had to like, whoever was showing up to the class can't do it. Now, like, so she's like, I guess I'm gonna take that as a sign, you know? And it's like, well, you got to take it seriously. You can't play around with this stuff as much as people like to play around and pay the consequences, but
yeah. And I think the tickets to Vegas are like $5 right now or something.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going.
Yeah.
So.
And she said there was a crap load of people. She said there was a crap load of people there. So there's a lot of people in Vegas right now. They're just kind of hanging out or whatever. So, hey guys, if you want to talk about something or you got something you want us to talk about, just go ahead and you can do it also in the comments. Like we're reading the comments, y'all, so we can see the comments if y'all want to mention some stuff in the comments here. But also, if you want to get on as a guest, you can like do so. Just text the number on the screen and it's going to text it your name and your question or your topic. And I'm going to select some of you to come on and so we can test this puppy because I want to test it, but also so we can kind of bring you on as a guest and we can, you know, talk about random stuff and whatnot. I'm looking through the comments here because I'm seeing what people are like. Yeah, people are just saying hi, like, hey everybody, cool, so cool. Christina's like, I feel like I have a sixth sense and wanted to know what I can do to enhance and embrace it. I'm ready now. You know, what do you do to like work on your psychic ability?
Me? I do cards and writing, and I am really like I guess I just am noticing it's something called what, clairaudient or something, where music tells me what to do. So I'm like, I listen to my songs every morning because usually they line up with whatever I'm feeling energetically. And I'm like, yes, that's a very important note. So like, I just the battery's going low. All the haywireness.
Mm,
Anyway, I just kind of take every day, and I'm like listening to my intuition. I feel crazy most of the time,
mm,
but I always think if somebody else would think it was unstable for me to do it right now, then I should be doing it because that's what I'm telling me to do. You know what I mean?
mm, mm,
So I just really practice listening to the voice, feeling, and noticing the synchronicities. So, like, if somebody brings me something that I just thought or said or wrote down, I'm like, oh, okay. Then that
mm,
must be the feeling of when I'm in that zone, you know?
mm, mm, mm. Did you need to plug up your phone to your power cord?
I'm gonna go get the charger.
Go
Just
do it,
leave me
girl.
alone today.
Go.
Just leave me alone today.
Because you're like, my battery's dying, my phone's dying. I'm like, okay, girl, well, you on live. So I'm like, you may not be able to like put that off any further. Like, you may need to go charge your damn phone. Oh, that's funny. Y'all are so funny. That's so funny.
I'm back. Listen, it's 2020. I'm doing my very, very best. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I can say.
Mm-hmm. I think that's at this point, that's where any of us are at, is like we can only do our very best. I mean, it's like one day at a time. Take it
Yeah.
one day at a time at this point, with everything that is going on. It's funny because Norm on Facebook, he's like, do you think things are going to calm down next year? Is the crazy energy going to slow down? What do you think?
I think next year, yes, it will calm down.
Mm,
But it's about to ramp up here, is
mm-hmm,
really what I think. I think
mm-hmm,
it's about to get very unstable physically,
mm-hmm,
spiritually, and energetically as we move towards January.
mm-hmm.
So your best bet is to be finding your source so that you know that you're going to be all right. Because,
Right.
I mean, like, I don't know if you guys saw, but like a couple of days ago, maybe I think it was September 26th or 27th, but some guys in California, one of them killed the other one, their neighbors. And the last words that they said was, one of them said, all lives matter. And the other guy said, Black lives matter. And then he shot him to death and then went in the house and killed himself. So, like, people are in some
Mm-hmm,
really unstable situations right now.
mm-hmm,
So we all just have to be trying to hold on to something.
mm-hmm.
And just remember that you can find joy even if everything around you feels like it's unstable.
Mm-hmm. I think sometimes the greatest things happen when there's a lot of stress or pressure building up, and I think that this, entire the year as a whole, and I don't think I do think it's going to calm down some, but I also think there's other things that are going to ramp up and continue to ramp up. Like, climate change is not going away. If anything, it's only going to continue to get worse. And I think we're really past the point of no return at this point, and we can't really do anything to reverse or to stop the damage. All we can do is slow down the impact on our like civilization and society, because I feel like that's just going to continue to go crazy. But regardless of what happens, because I don't know if y'all have heard that Trumpy has COVID now, and he's in the hospital, and
That's right.
he's like, deathly ill, but he's putting out videos like everything's okay. With that whole situation,
Mm-hmm.
I have so many thoughts around that. I don't wish anyone death. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to wish anyone death. I think that the universe has a great way of providing opportunities for us to see truth and what is. And even if we have our own ideas or opinions about what reality is really about and what is really going on in the world, the universe has a very interesting way of humbling us and reminding us that we are not at the wheel, that we are simply passengers on this bitch. And she's driving.
Okay.
She's driving. So I think that, as far as he is concerned, I actually was thinking about this on my walk, because there's a lot of people celebrating. There's a lot of people like, oh my God, like I'm
know.
like, hallelujah, praise the Lord. I mean, people are like out and about. They're ready to throw a party about this. And I cannot say, oh my gosh, like I can't say I got a smirk on my face when I heard that he got sick, because I was like, well, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you live by the sword, so,
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, but at the same time, and that's the human response. That's the Ferny response. That's the response that's like, this is what happens, fool. Like, this is what we've been talking about. Like, you need to make sure you set a proper example for everyone, and you need to make sure that you are looking out for everyone's best interests, and you need to make sure that you are doing everything within your power to take care of your house. And when you don't take care of your house, and when you begin to, live in a mindset and in a reality that only serves you, is self-serving, but you don't look out for nobody else, at some point there's got to be some sort of like balancing that takes place. Do I wish him death? No, I don't wish him death. Do I get pleasure from knowing that he's now in like a life or death situation? A little bit, what do I want to do with that? I mean, maybe this is my own spiritual journey. Maybe this is my own spiritual path, because I don't want to become someone who is going to operate from a perspective of low vibes. I don't want to operate from that place of hatred. I don't want to operate from that place of anger and rage. I don't want to operate from that like low vibe state, because I know that's a very low vibrational place to be at, and it really isn't a place of spiritual mindset. At the same time, from a human perspective, this is just entertaining to watch, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when you're not in a position to wish someone well, because I'm not going to wish him well, when you're not in a position, or when you're not in a place where you can wish someone well, I'm not going to wish them ill either. I'm going to simply just send love out, and I'm specifically sending, and I don't want to send him love, because I'm like, I'm not trying to help you rebound from this. Like, whatever happens, happens. And if Mama you says, it's time, you done, baby. You did your time. It's time to come back home. Then Mama you take them. But I'm not trying to make that better. I'm not going to like put my positivity towards his recovery, because I'm not there. As a human being, I'm just not there. And I'm okay with that. But I'm not going to wish him ill. I'm not going to wish him death. I'm not going to wish him a recovery. But what I can do is I can reach inside of myself and just try to still find a place that exists within me that experiences love, that sustains love. So on the walk that I was like, really struggling with this, and I was talking to like Aja, and I was talking to God, and I was like, I mean, this is a struggle for me, because some people are like, oh my God, look at those hypocrites. Like, they want everybody to be treated this way or that way, but they're also wishing him death. I'm like, well, that ain't no different than the opposite side. So I mean, what are you talking about? So for me, I can't wish him ill. I'm not going to wish him death or ill. I'm not going to wish him well. I'm going to just send love into the universe and say, God's will be done. Thy will be done is what I say. If the universe decides, if it is within the bigger picture for him to no longer be here, then I will accept that decision, because the universe made that decision. I didn't make that decision. I don't have any power over what's going on with him.
Right.
If the universe decides he's still here, he's still here. And I have to accept that there's a lot of very complex operations at work to allow us in this place to be able to move forward in our own unique and individual way. But yeah, I don't need to pretend, and I'm not going to be like some of these, I'm not going to be like some of these people who are being fake and like, oh my God, I wish him better. I wish him, like, no, bitch, you don't really mean that. You don't really mean that. Like, don't go out and say all these positive, wonderful things when you wishing the man drops dead. Like, don't do that. Like, if you can't be authentic to who you are, then just then just shut up. Shut the hell up. I don't need to hear from you. But that's what you have. You have people being so fake and like, and I don't need to be fake. I just need to be real with myself, and I'm being real with myself. And I admittedly cannot bring it within myself to wish him well. So, and part of that is because I have no sympathy, because you put yourself in this position. Like, you set yourself up, you put yourself in this position, you put yourself in a situation where you have contributed to the pain and suffering of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people on this planet. And even though you're only like one person in one country, you're part of the energy you put out, and what you put out now you are sowing the benefit of. This is the benefit. This is what you've created in this world. And so, yes, it is befitting that you would go through this because you have created the situation that has produced the opportunity for you to get this. Mm-hmm. So why are you going to be mad at everybody? Why are you going to be mad? Be mad at yourself because you put yourself in this position. That's just how I feel.
Okay. He never wears a mask, or when he wears a mask, he makes fun of other people who are wearing masks. Mm-hmm. Somebody I know felt like this was proof positive of their manifestations because they just wished that he would get sick. And I said, okay, if that's going to help you understand that you have power, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I saw my cousin was like, have you prayed for the president regardless of your political affiliation? And I saw my mother on the post talking about, I prayed for him, and I just commented underneath it. I said, you would. Because I mean, and I haven't not prayed for him, but I haven't even thought about it. Because my thing is, I know it would be too much like joy for him to be gone. You know what I mean? It would be too much. It would be too much joy for anybody to be able to handle, because there's so many people who would be like, yes, finally. So I just look at it like it's probably going to be, he'll get better fairly quickly, a rapid recovery with some, we all have to take it because then nobody will get sick or whatever. I'm not doing it. Yeah. And I think this is, I don't know if we're even going to have the election the way that we're supposed to. Like, I keep seeing like
there's going to be bombings,
a train going off the rails.
I think that there's just, first of all, I was talking to Ed about this. He's like, I told him, I was like, I don't think he's going to die. I think he's going to, Bastard's going to keep going, and that's just like that thought in my head, like, like if it were only that simple. I think that this is, regardless of what happens, if he passes away, I still see a lot of violence in the cities. I think that people in his party, people who are like diehard Trump people are going to be like, he's been taken out. This was set up. People took him out. They killed him. He's now the Messiah. He is now, Jesus Christ superstar. We need to stand for our leader. And so I can almost guarantee that I feel there's going to start to be like attacks and bombings and things that are being targeted just out of strife and anger and hatred, pure hatred, which in itself, if you go and you start bombing at this point in today's age, this week, if a white person goes over and bombs a black church, that's the end game. At this point, it's going to set it all off, and that's it. Yep. And that's why it's so scary, because that's if he dies. That's if I can easily see that. If he doesn't die, if he lives, which, I think he's going to pull through. I feel like it's still the same shit. But I can see like places that are voting, like places where people are lined up to vote in liberal, like, places being bombed or being targeted or whatever, because they're going to be trying to scare people not to show up to vote or not to do this or not to do that. And so I can see that starting to happen or starting to go down. And that's no good, because it's still going to be craziness. And if he loses the election, which I expect that he's going to lose the election, I think that he's not going to go quietly. I wouldn't be surprised if he flees to another country next year, but I don't think he's going to go quietly. And I think that people are still going to come out and say that it's not real and it's been like completely hacked and all this other bullshit. And there's really, and I can still see the same crap going down. So it's like, it's like at this point, we're not in a win. Like this is a no-win situation. Like the rest of this year, y'all, this is a no-win situation. Make sure you got food. Make sure you got, a place to go if you need to get the hell out of the city. I mean, it sounds crazy, but this is the age that we live in, and this is the craziness that we live in. So, I mean,
it's the twilight though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're here now. Mm-hmm. Wherever we thought we never, ever possibly could maybe live in, we're there. Mm-hmm. Like that's what it is. So I honestly, like, just like you said, I think we talked about this last week. there's going to definitely be fighting in the streets. And then, of course, that debate was a monstrosity.
That was
And
an entertaining thing
during the debate, he said, we all know what he said about the Proud Boys standing back and standing by. But that was in reference. Then he said they should go to the polls to watch. So they're going to be harassing people because they have this, what do they call it? Where the police deputize somebody. Is that what that is?
Yeah. They're being made unofficial. They're being made like unofficial officers of law enforcement, like law enforcement officers, and they're being given all this power and authority. You absolutely do never want to do that because people are crazy, and we already got crazy police officers. I don't know why we need to be giving other people that power, because nobody should be have that power unless they've been properly trained. And that's actually part of the problem is people ain't properly trained, you know?
Right. The already real life police are already not properly trained to deal with other people and have emotional intelligence. You bring it in Jethro from the trailer park up the street, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's my time." You know, like no, like it's going to be a mess. And just like the story I was telling y'all about the two neighbors, where the guy wasn't even black, he was Hispanic, and the neighbor killed him and shot him behind, I guess, his white supremacist right being taken away. I am white. Hear me roar. Like, calm down.
All COVID lives matter, you know?
Yeah,
all
listen,
COVID lives matter.
All COVID cases matter. This is no different. It's not special. I saw they had a whole press conference in front of some building. Everybody was dressed in their lab suits. I'm like, this is the Twilight Zone. I feel like this is what I would see on an episode of the new Twilight Zone. It's unreal. It's surreal. It is 2020. And I think it's beautiful in a way, too, because I like growth and expansion. But I see that people are not prepared for it.
Ain't nobody got time for this. Ain't nobody got time for this this year. Like, incrementally, like, it's like, you know, bite size. Like, hey, y'all, here's a Thanksgiving dinner, but everything's done rotted and I burnt the turkey, but you got to eat it all. Like, oh my God, how am I going to fit all that in this little bit of belly? You know, it's like, that's how I feel. It's like, it's too much to like ingest. So it's like, you kind of just have to like, okay, today's a new day, you know?
Yeah. Every day, one day at a time. And like, I saw somebody saying, and I totally agree with this because that's kind of how I felt this week. I was like, look outside, look at the world, look what's happening. Why am I still being expected to show up for work and school like it's a regular ass time? Like, this thing is fixing to fall over, and you want me to spend my last hours looking at you? Fuck. Like, what? You know, like, I guess that's part of my thing is I'm like, okay, well, can we just all come to an agreement that we need to be doing something different if this is how we are going to be living, as opposed to, okay, everybody keep trying to be in the same space of normalcy. It's not normal. It's not where we were. So trying to pretend is ridiculous to me.
That's the thing, though. I think on a core level, and I believe this, I really do believe this. On a core level, I believe that we're all like good people. I think we are all, I mean, it is the ideology of spirituality, or the practice. It's like, we are all source in human form. We are all source form is what I want to call it. So we all come from a place of love, and within us, within the deepest recesses of our being, there is love there. There is caring, nurturing energy there. But, you know, once you start packing on the layers of life, people get caught up in that. And I think people at their core know what's right and what's wrong. And unless you suffer from a mental illness, I think that people at their core know what's right and what's wrong. And when you get enough people, you know, giving each other props for doing what's wrong, it becomes infectious. It's like a disease, and it just kind of spreads, because at that point, people are using whatever opportunity they have in front of them to express and expel that energy that is built up within them that has been caused by the pain, by the suffering that they've gone through individually. And I believe all people have gone through some sort of suffering, all of them, all of the people on the planet. But they want ways to express that and to expel that. And they either can go to the hardest place you can go to, which is to the place of forgiveness and release, which is not easy under any circumstance. Or you can go to the place of action and self-righteous, self-fulfilling like behavior, which I think is where violence comes from, where, how white people are bullies. I think that's where all that comes from. And it's a place of fear. And I think that there's a collective suffering there, even with all them white folks who are being hateful. There's a collective suffering there. And what's the crazy thing is that the suffering is the one that's self-imposed. Like they have caused for themselves the suffering that they are now trying to impose on others. And they believe that by imposing the suffering on others, it's going to lift them up and like give them a bit of a boost. Like we need to bring ourselves out. And the problem is that's the exact opposite of what's going to happen. You're bringing about more suffering, not only for others, but also for yourself in the process, because your suffering is going to essentially expand out and become an infection throughout consciousness and throughout society. Like nobody did anything around Hitler until enough people died. Like nobody did anything about that. And so I think that right now we are really feeling it, and it's just only continuing to intensify. And I think until enough of us recognize that we have to unite in a loving, protective, supportive way, until enough of us unite in that way, this is going to continue to happen. But I feel there are a lot more people on the side of justice. I think there's a lot of people on the side of like, that's wrong. I'm seeing that and that's wrong. Like I believe there's a lot more people on that side than on the side of hatred and anger and violence. And I think that when we realize that we have the potential to unite and really like take charge and control, which I don't think has happened yet, nothing's going to change. And these people are going to continue to just go out there and just be a virus, be an infection. It's like the body, when someone gets sick, the cells in your body, they're just doing their own thing, doing whatever, doing their own thing. And then when there's an infection that starts up in the body just kind of continues to allow that infection. Now there is some reaction within some of the localized cells, but for the most part, the whole body doesn't really do anything to like stop that localized infection until it gets out of proportion and it gets off balance. At that point, your body's like, oh no, bitch, we're shutting down. And at that point you go into fever mode, you go into like, oh my God, your body is like, no, I'm like, it's either fight or flight at this point. We haven't gotten to the flight or fight mode yet. It's coming, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that somebody just called my name, so if I go on mute, that's why. But also, I think, and I was looking at some old videos I have, and I said something like, we can really get to how to connect on that deeper love level once people on their ego level or their physical level are able to stop feeling victimized. And for a lot of people, that's going to take quite some time because the victimization continues. So it's like, if we could stop the aggression and the finger pointing and the you Black people or you Hispanics or whatever people are saying about us, if that could end, then maybe we could be like, okay, I had a day where I didn't have to watch a murder video, or I had a day where I didn't have to hear about children being held captive in a camp. And then my vibration was able to come higher, because a lot of people are not skilled at being able to ignore that and say, I understand that I'm still love is still free, and I can still feel good. A lot of people really do feel like this world is terrible, it is toxic, it is tragic, and there is no God. And they feel like that because of the way other people act. Like I had a conversation with a woman today, and she was like, I mean, look at all this tragedy. And I asked her, I said, well, have you seen miracles before? And she was like, yeah, but I've also seen tragedy. And I'm like, but see, that's the thing, is if you focus only on Christianity and what they teach you, you will really be stuck
Mm-hmm.
because you don't understand that there's a balance to it. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean we don't have love or that we're not worthy just because we have tragedy happening here. I mean, the pendulum swings both ways, always.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's two sides to it always. And that's part of coming into true spirituality and understanding duality, and that just because something is dark doesn't mean it isn't also light, and that you can't transmute it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we have so many layers to this. There's so many layers to it, and it's going to take so much time, I think, for people to really connect on that level. So that's why I said, I mean, even though, like, okay, 2021 probably be better, there's going to be fighting, people are still going to be going against each other. It's not going to be until something just goes kaboom here and says, hey guys, love is really the key,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to say, you know what, even though we don't look alike, we don't have the same skin color, we're brothers, or we are the same, we are one, we're part of the all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be some time, I think.
That's what we're like. You made a point there, because I think with everything that is happening this year, and then this year, and I keep saying this year because this really is a year for the history books. I think that there's so many what you said is there's so many layers, and it's going to take time. And this is what we were reading in A Course in Miracles, where the human mind cannot comprehend or grasp the complexity of all of the moving parts and pieces that are in play in this dimensional reality, in this, matrix reality. We don't have the ability to like comprehend every single thing that's at play. And so we can only experience from this localized like perspective, and we can only control what is within our control, which I can control myself. I can control what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. Now, there will be times where as humans, we even momentarily lose the ability to do that if we're in a fit of rage or pain or anger, which, is
Mm-hmm.
possible. But at the same time, that's still within our control. We're still responsible for that. But I'm responsible for what I say to people. I'm responsible for how I'm going to love people. I'm responsible for like who I talk to, who I surround myself with, which is important. I think you should surround yourself with people who are nurturing, but you also need to point out to those who are in very opposite placements what they're not seeing, what they can't even see.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, I think that's the part about, and then somebody was talking about, like, we should love each other. Like, yeah, I think that that's a great idea in concept. I think that we all have the potential to love each other and to unite. Will it ever happen in this lifetime? No. Will it ever happen on this world? Probably not. Not anytime soon. Not anywhere near the future.
Right.
I think that,
Yeah.
can we all get on board the love train? No, because some people think that the love train is the devil, and they're
Yeah.
coming from a very different mindset. And so there are some people who never even learned what love was or what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And so they operate from a
Mm-hmm.
very different, like, position. They operate from a very different perspective on love. It's like what I was talking about earlier. I think I was talking about this yesterday in my podcast, in my live. People were like, love me, like, pay attention to me. Like, people believe that, like, if you love me, that means you should be obsessed with me. And I'm just like, girl, no,
Yeah.
like we got lives, we got things we can be focused on and doing. I don't need to be worshiping you or obsessing over you. That's your job. You obsess about yourself. You worship yourself.
Yes.
And I can just add on to that. I can add some pennies onto your dollar, but you don't need my pennies. You need your dollar, because you need to learn to love
Yeah.
yourself and really be there for yourself. And then anything else is extra. And then you take the pressure off of others to be and to submit,
Mm-hmm.
and to, you take the pressure off. And at that point you can see clearly, you can operate very
Yeah.
differently. So,
Mm-hmm. And then whenever you get to that point, and I'm saying this from personal experience because
mm-hmm,
I was one of those people who thought love was only external, and spent many, many years as a self-hater. That's the way I like to
mm-hmm,
refer to it, because instead of self-love, it's like the direct opposite of it.
mm-hmm,
You're like beating yourself up every day when you could be like, girl, you better be the shit. Like,
mm-hmm,
why not? But when you do that, then you also understand that other people are wounded. So they might not be able to give you love because they don't
mm-hmm,
know it.
mm-hmm,
And also, it's just like respecting that they don't have to be obsessed with you. You know, like, just like you don't need to be obsessed with them. They don't need to be obsessed
Mm-hmm.
with you. It should be, hey, I have a life. You have a life. Maybe we could be together. Maybe I'll be your wife. I don't know. You know, like, but it's not like,
Yeah.
but it's not like, okay, and toxic, and I saw you talking to that guy, and I saw you talking to that girl, and oh my God, and threatened by everything. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
there's peace in it. And I think there are a lot of people who want to be in that space. And I'll say this about the Black community, like, we have some very severe difficulties with relationships because we've always got the men going, women think this and they're toxic. And the women going, men think this and they're toxic. And like, no
Mm-hmm.
one is making a couple. And
Mm-hmm.
how can we have a community without that? So like, it's, it's sad. And I really hope that we come to some kind of agreement at some point about healing, because when you heal yourself, you're, like you just said, able to see relationships differently. And you're not expecting your partner to be fulfilling all your needs and come and make me feel important now.
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to pet me. No.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, we don't have to do that for each other. We need to be connecting so that we can raise these kids. I mean, like, I'm over here trying to do this for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have somebody help me, you know, but all the men I know are like, oh, women only want my money. First of all, sir, you don't
Mm-hmm.
have none. So,
Mm-hmm. You know, it's not that different in like the gay community, because in the gay community, you know, with like, there's like two types. There are like the serial, the serial sex fiends, like just guys who just want to get off and have sex, but they're not really interested in a relationship. And so they feel like, you know, because you're another guy, you know, hey guys, by the way, if you want to like get on or come on as a guest and you want to talk about something, or you got something you want to ask about, spiritual questions or life or whatever, then just go ahead and text the number and text your first name and your question or your topic. And I might pick somebody to come on here and talk about something that's relevant to what we're discussing, not just something random. Back to what I was saying. So yeah, it's not that different, because when I like first realized I was gay, and then I started going out into the community and starting to like build connections and relationships and be with people, it was not easy, because most of the guys just wanted to have sex. And not only that, I was kind of taught to be very superficial, and I was a little bit of an asshole, because I remember sometimes I would date guys and they were perfectly good. They were good for relationships, but I would judge them on like the stupidest things, like, oh, like you're pigeon toed, or oh, like you're a heavy guy, you know, like, oh, you're this or that. And so I would judge on the most superficial, like stupidest little things, you know, your penis is so small, like those little things that we are like, that's important. That's what's the most important thing. It really is not that important. And I think I didn't realize that. And I didn't even know I was like that until like fast forward, I got into a relationship with my ex, which was like, you know, like the late 2000s. And that boy put me through hell and back. And I went through so much craziness and lost myself in that relationship. And when I came back to myself after that relationship was done and good, I was like, oh my God, all of these guys that I had met that were totally good for a relationship, that I could have totally been happy or just appreciated and enjoyed that connection. And I didn't appreciate it at the time. I didn't realize it because I didn't understand that that was more important than, you know, what someone looks like or how someone walks or this or that. So I had to go through a really rough relationship that put me through hell to realize that these things are not that important. And it really is like the little moments and the little things that are important and that matter. So, Lisa's got a good question. Yeah, let me bring Lisa on. I'm gonna bring a guest on because I need to bring somebody on. So there you go. Let me bring Lisa on. So Lisa, I'm gonna text you a code. So you need to click the code, and it'll bring you on. See, because this is the first time I'm doing this, y'all. So bear with me because we getting our bearings here. We're getting our bearings. What is this? Okay, come on, y'all. Girl.
It's
see.
all
Let's
going to
see.
work out just fine.
Oh, it is, girl. It is. I mean, we already got one step working right. So I'm like, girl, it's getting there. It's getting there. Ah, there it goes.
I don't know what's going on with my computer. It tried to do that to me earlier this week whenever I was like, oh, I finally made it to this coaching session. And then it was like, your such and such doesn't work. I'm like, oh my God.
No, and I was thinking to myself because when they updated the program, I was like, oh my God, everything that we wanted is finally going to be on here. We can finally do what we want to do. And they're like, well, we ain't tested this on an old computer. We've only used like 2019, 2020 MacBook Pros. And I'm like, I got a 2015 MacBook Pro. So, okay, let's see how that works. And so obviously there are some hiccups there. So here we got Lisa joining in. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Lisa, you there? Okay, here, let me see. I'm gonna assign you a spot here. Let's see if it does it. Let's see. Okay, okay, hold on, Lisa. There you are. Can you hear us, Lisa?
Hey.
Can you hear us?
Oh, now I'm on the way.
Hi, we can't hear nothing, girl. I can't hear nothing. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Trying to. All right, we should be live again. Let's see. You tell me if you see us live, Michelle.
Okay, I see it. I see it back.
Okay. All right, Lisa.
I see it back now.
So people are starting to pop back in here again. Okay, so you were talking about you had an interesting question. You were talking about love because that's what we were talking about. We were talking about love. So what was your question? What did you want to ask?
Well, my question is, you were talking about relationships and it's just been so many years since I've had any kind of a relationship or been able to make any kind of connection with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I've focused very much on my career and things like that. And I've definitely tried to make myself happy in my life just with myself, but like, I don't even know how to begin. I don't even know how to begin to put myself out there to even try. I have no clue how this is done anymore.
Mm-hmm. So, what were the examples in your life of love and relationship growing up? Who were the examples?
Oh, not good ones.
Okay.
Not good ones. Every relationship I've had has been toxic in some way.
Got it. So there's this like there's an ongoing like theme of toxicity there. And so it's like you believe in love, you believe in the possibility of having that connection, right? You believe that it's possible for you, but every single example and every single time you've experienced this directly, it hasn't been a positive experience or an uplifting and nurturing experience, correct?
Much so.
Okay. So I've
had positive love relationships, but nothing with men.
Right. Got it. And so that's where the hiccup is at, because if you've been conditioned, you're a victim of conditioning is what you are. And that's what's going on here, because you haven't had the experience that has proven to you that your belief is real. Then your belief is not real. It doesn't exist. The reality that love can actually work for you does not exist, because there's nothing to validate that it actually is real. And so what I tell people is, right. You can go and date, you can get on an app, you can do all these different tricks and tips and techniques to try to get something going, but you're going to have to dig a little bit deeper and get to the core energy state of being that you are supporting because of what you fundamentally believe, even though ideologically you want to believe one thing, but you are it's almost like you're kind of like one of these born again Christians with that, where you believe in these higher principles of operation, but when it comes to modeling the behavior and experiencing it directly, that's not the trend, and that's not the norm. So there's kind of like a similarity there. And so you can only put out energy that is going to continue to support that deep core state of being. So this is what you do, because you're like, but what do I do for anyone? I'm going to tell you what you do. So this is what you do. You need to give yourself experiences that prove you wrong. And what I mean by that is, if you can't just go out and get into a relationship and have a positive relationship with a male in a romantic way, then you just need to go out and have a positive relationship with a male, period, that allows for a level, I wouldn't say a level of intimacy, but just a level of connection where it is an example that this exists. And you also need to pay attention to the people who are actually in healthy relationships and seeing people in relationships with males, because by doing that, what's going to happen is you're going to start to kind of give yourself an example that it's real and it exists, and you can see it in operation. You can see it in some way, but at the same time, oh, what's going on here? Oh, okay. Oh. I lost Lisa. Oh. Oh. That's it.